Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, yesterday, December 1st, 2022, President of France Macron visited the shuffling madness, semi-conscious humanoid Biden at the White House. They ate, drank, that not, because you know why, and they made some statements in a press conference. And Macron said, well, I will call Putin and we're going to determine what's going on in Ukraine. And then, what's his name, the shuffling madness, Biden said that, well, I'm willing to talk to Putin, but he needs to stop the war in Ukraine. And, he's not going to do that, so I'm not going to talk to him. And he said something more, but the media did not really add to it. In a way, it was, well, needs to vacate the area they conquered, the Russians. Supposedly they, the territories that held the referenda, that needs to be given back to Ukraine before everything, like talking and so on. Well, that would get us to February 24th or before that, when the Russians wanted to talk about it, but the Americans dismissed that. If you remember, the last attempt was in December 2021, where the Americans said, we don't want to talk to you. We don't care. Come on, start. You're already late. Do it. And they did it. So the thing is, now the Kremlin answers Biden's offer and openness all of a sudden. I don't understand. These guys are open to talk to Putin. And Biden mentioned the Russian president's names on 2 occasions, and he referred to him as Mr. Putin. That was a big change in the way he spoke about the dictator, criminal, Hitler, whatever, you know what I mean. He was very mild and diplomatic all of a sudden. I don't know exactly what's going on, but you do that for 2 reasons. One, you either are in a bad position, or you just fake something in order to achieve something else. Well, whatever they might be, let's see how the Russians responded to this openness to talk. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda, which is a Ukrainian news outlet, obviously. And this article is from December 2nd, 2022. I have 2 articles, actually one from Ukrainska Pravda and the other one I have it from Sputnik, which is a obviously Russian news outlet. They all say basically the same thing, it's just they complete one another. So we go to Ukrainska Pravda, and this is the title: Kremlin's response to Biden's negotiation conditions. And I'm quoting, Russians will not leave Ukraine. Alright, so they will not leave Ukraine. So the Kremlin is not prepared to accept the conditions for negotiations with Washington that US President Joe Biden put forward on December 1st. Namely, Russia has no plans to withdraw its troops from the territory of Ukraine. Kremlin-aligned news outlet RIA Novosti, Telegram channel VY/Hali Mayak, posting Peskov's comments. And I'm quoting Mr. Peskov. You have quoted only part of Joe Biden's statement. It included a few more sentences. He said that first, Putin needs to leave Ukraine. He believes that this should demonstrate that Putin is ready for negotiations. See, this part I didn't see. It was not in the yesterday's reporting, and he is right here. That's how you build trust. Now, they said he needs to stop war. He didn't say, in the article I read at least, and I had 2 of them available, it was now mentioned that you have to leave Ukraine, which probably goes without saying. But let's move on and see what Peskov says. The US, as before, does not recognize the new territories in the Russian Federation, and, of course, this significantly complicates the search for solid ground for mutual discussion. I think he's right. And he says the Kremlin is not prepared to accept the conditions for negotiations. Well, I think so. And he says here that the US, as before, does not recognize the new territories of Ukraine Federation. Of course, this complicates in order to ensure Russia's interest. Well, according to Putin, always has been is and will be open for negotiations in order to ensure Russia's interests. So yeah, we can talk, but that's a non-negotiable right there. Peskov added, it was the president of the Russian Federation who tried to initiate negotiations based on draft prepared with the US, NATO and OSCE, even before the special military operation. That's exactly what I was telling you about December 2021. What did those guys do? Keep moving, Russia, keep moving. Do it. You are already late. And Peskov pointed out that this initiative by the Russian Federation was not reciprocated. The special military operation is, I'm quoting again, ongoing. That said, it is important to know that President Vladimir Putin always has been, is, and will be open for contact and negotiations. The best way to achieve our interest is by peaceful diplomatic means. End quote. Peskov summed it up. Background: US President Joe Biden has stated that he does not intend to speak with Vladimir Putin at the moment, but he will be prepared to do so if the latter shows real interest in ending the war he started in Ukraine. That is, if he withdraws his troops from Ukraine. He didn't report that one yesterday, weasels. And the other article from Sputnik says this. Non-recognition of new Russian territories by US impedes dialogue, Kremlin said. The United States still does not recognize the new territories of Russia, which significantly complicates the search for mutual ground for discussions, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Friday. The United States still does not recognize the new territories as part of Russia. Hey, Peskov, let's be real here. They will not recognize it, okay? So this is, I think, is a way of saying, I'm not gonna negotiate with you because you don't like my mom. You know, we're not gonna negotiate this dispute about if my fence is built, legally or illegally, talking with the neighbor, because you don't like my mom. What does one have to do with the other one? And you know he's not gonna like your mom because your mom probably is a bitch. So there you have it. So the same here. We got this situation where the Russian says, well, we're not going to talk to you because of this. This is the fact that that non-recognition of the new acquired territories is a problem. But you have to understand that the United States will not recognize that. Will not. Somehow would be something in between. They will probably try something in between in a way that, let's make it autonomous territories and so on. But that was already done in the Minsk agreements in 2014 and 2014. Why should I believe you now? You know what I mean? So that was already determined that Ukraine will stage new elections. Those territories will be within Ukraine. They will not be Russians. They will be within Ukraine, will have a different status, a little bit more autonomy. You can say, well, that's a step towards Russians getting it. Could be or could not be. So your scenario is equally valuable as my scenario. Let's say, no, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, no, no. Okay, so bullshit to the side. That's what was at that time determined. There was nothing that the Russians will take it. Or you can, as I say, we'll go back to scenarios and yes, no, like children. No, so let's move on. So this is what it was in the Minsk agreements, among other things. That didn't happen. And now you want the Russians, after killing so many Ukrainians and vice versa, you want that to all of a sudden, how do you call it, go back to that you didn't implement in the first place, what, 8 years ago? Why would they want to do that? You have no credibility, my boy, at all. You say, well, you don't have either. Well, tell me about it. You're gonna parrot me back oh, you never said you're gonna invade that, well, if you kill my brothers, I would definitely smack you. And that's what I would do. If you smack my brother, I would smack you. I would warn you first. Hey, it happened many times in my tumultuous youth, where you had to intervene for other people, and you did this. You gave a warning, and if that warning was broken and they continued, then you go and smack. Or maybe get smacked. It happened. So, you take chances, but you show this and that. Always is a risk. Even if you go and fight, you fight in competitions, or you fight in real life, and you get on someone who you think, I'm going to fuck this guy up, it's always a chance, a certain percentage, probability that he's going to fuck you up. So let's say you say, I'm going to fuck this guy up. I know what I can do. I know this guy and so on. But you never know. He's going to be, do something a little perverted on you that you don't see it, and you're going to be knocked out over there in front of everybody. And then you're going to be, well, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it happens. So the same here. Give a warning. They were given for 8 years. Even the signed warnings, not even warnings, understandings. Those are understandings, and they didn't do it. So going back to something that you refused for 8 years, and now you tell me I should go back, and only then we start, I wouldn't do that. Would you do that? I don't think you would do that. I mean, put the shoe on the other foot and see if they would have done this. I don't think they would be like, are you crazy? Let's say it would be the reverse. Do you think the Americans say, yes, I think we're going to do this? Yes, yes, yes. You make me laugh, and that's a good thing. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.